How is everybody? Welcome back to Turf Moor House TV. I'm Dan. I always will be. It's on the birth certificate. I tell you this every single time. Thank you guys for tuning in. And as you can see, it's bank holiday weekend. Your fridge is stocked full of beer. Have you got some money put to one side for a good old gamble? I know Sky Bet will be looking forward to taking quite a bit of money this bank holiday weekend. Obviously, on Sunday, for Burnley fans and for Leeds fans, as I say, it's Burnley versus Leeds, Battle of the Roses, Lancashire versus Yorkshire. And on a bank holiday weekend, Lancashire Police and Yorkshire Police, be warned. That's all I will say. It's going to be a tasty one. It always is when we play Leeds. And to give us a Leeds perspective, we have Carl in the house. How are you doing, big dog? You all right?
Yeah, I'm good, thanks. Thanks for inviting me as well. I just finished work. So I said with Sky Bet, I do kind of work with Sky Bet a little bit, but I work for FanDuel. So I work in the gambling industry now. So
hey. Yeah. So that's it though. That's the thing. A couple of dodgy bets and that's it. You'll be your wage packet will go a bit up, won't it? So that's all right.
Well, we'll see. Yeah.
So how have you been, mate? Are you all right?
Yeah, I'm not too bad, thanks. I've had a good, decent week as well. I'm only working. I'm off Saturday, but I'm back to work Sunday morning just for to help the shift with my US team in the US in the States. But after that, I've got the whole week off work. I'm driving back down to the bank holiday Monday to see my family with a partner. So I'm going to enjoy the week of not doing shit. So
yeah, don't blame you. Don't blame you. Obviously, you'll be rooting for Leeds to obviously grab a positive result on Sunday dinner time. First of all, give a shout out to your channel. Give a shout out. Tell us a bit more about you, what you do, and how long you've supported Leeds for.
Well, first, before that, we now just renamed ourselves the Totally Leave It and Horn Football Podcast. Myself, Carl, and Douglas Horn. Everyone knows Douglas Horn from the Dugout Football Channel. We've been good friends since I moved up to Edinburgh about a couple of years ago. And from just recently, we just left our former Baltic employee, Sam Radio, because we were just getting tired of it. We were just not happy where things were going that direction. We've been doing the radio stuff for 5 years. And now for me, it's just for us now to do, he's been doing YouTube for a year. It was for me to move into that field as well. So we are going to be our own podcast. And we are going to do a new YouTube channel. I've just deleted all of the old vids from when we did with Sam Radio. So it's a clean slate for us now. So hopefully I will do some recording next week while I'm off. So hopefully we get our podcast, or not just on Spotify and the other podcast services, but also on our YouTube page. We will do like the video as well too. So no, it's going to be a really good time to do this and go forward with what we want to do, because I want to grow now as a podcaster now, and being on the radio for 5 years, it's been tremendous. But you can't when you get stale, you have to change it. You have to change weight.
Yeah, of course you do. Of course you do. No, fair play. So everybody here in the chat and obviously watching along at home, please do head on over, check out Carl's and Doug's YouTube channels. As I say, we have put a link in the description to your YouTube channel as well, Carl. So everyone, please do head on over there, show it some love, give us a subscribe, and let's help build that channel up. A couple of comments. We've got Rich, who's, he's a United fan. Yeah, United fan. Say no more. Say no more.
I actually did his show before the season opened. So I was on his show as well. So yeah,
he's a good guy. He really is. Art of gold. And I do agree with him. It should be an interesting matchup. Both sides. It's beginning of the season, but it's sort of a must-win game for both sides. Playing against those teams that you expect to be getting points off. So who knows? Who knows what we're in for? It's always tasty. Speaking of tasty, and I'm allowed to say it because she's my other half, Kate's in here. And big thumbs up, subscribe and get your comments in. Yeah, as she said, please do show us some support, show us some love. It really does mean the world to me. We are 1 away from 170, but that means we're also 31 away from 200. So why not dream big? Why not dream big? Let's go for it. Mm-hmm. Exactly. So let's get to 200. Let's try and smash those likes, smash those subs. And thank you guys, everyone, for tuning in. Talk VFC. Hope you are well. Obviously, Talk BFC is doing a lot of stuff on the YouTube scene as well. Another Burnley channel that is coming up through the system. Recently been on It's Don Robbie TV and gave a cracking account of himself. So fair play. Yep. Beers all around, mate. I'm with you. It must just be a Burnley thing that literally, it's 5 o'clock somewhere. It's 5 o'clock. So I'd love to say this is my first, but it's about my third or fourth. So I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie to you. If I start mumbling or falling asleep, just give me a shout. Caden says, "Evening. Thank you for tuning in, Caden. Honestly, it means a lot to have you here. As I say, guys, get your predictions in for the game. Get your score predictions, team selection. Just have a ramble if you want. Even have a ramble about Ronaldo, since it seems to be the big talking point at the minute. He's everywhere. Yeah, honest to God, the Messi situation, I thought, this is going to be dragged out through the whole process. And literally, it's like, it left Barca and he'd gone. And I thought, oh, wow, that were over quick. Now, obviously, the Ronaldo thing could be another quick fix. But
he's a big dad. The last 24 hours, there was a lot of Man United fans crying and begging Ronaldo not to go.
I've seen videos of United fans burning his shirt.
Yeah, I saw it as well. Yeah, exactly. And I said he's going to regret that now since all that changed in the last 2 hours. I'm like, freaking hell, this is good. It's like a soap drama. I'm like, what the hell is going on? Absolute baffling. It's just baffling. It really is.
It is. I mean, fair play if he does go back to United. I honestly thought he'd probably go back to Portugal at some point, but maybe he's going United before, heading back.
Yeah.
One final crack at the Prem and see how it goes. But yeah, obviously we are here for Burnley against Leeds, not the other United, not that red shirt over in Manchester. We're talking about the white shirt instead, aren't we, Carl?
We are, absolutely indeed, mate. Absolutely indeed.
So obviously it's one of those Burnley versus Leeds. It's always a tough clash. I mean, give us your thoughts on recent fixtures between the two recently, and just your thoughts on how you've started the season as well.
Yeah, this is going to be an interesting fixture, actually. And it's one of the games we probably need to get out of the way because after last season, it was quite intense, that the game at Ellen Road when you lot should have had a free kick for, a penalty until it was a free kick. So there was a lot of words between Dice and Bielsa after the game. And then when we came to your mob at Turf Moor, we smashed you 4-0. We played you off the park. I'm like, really? Just how surprised we've done so well, actually. So, no, it's quite surprising.
I bet.
But the thing is, recent results, I have to admit, it's not been the best. It's been an early start, and we probably need to do a little bit better. That's what we need to do.
Yeah, I mean, you do expect a lot from a Bielsa side, don't get me wrong. He gets them playing the right way. It's always interesting, no matter what side he picks. I mean, I'm just like every other fan. When it comes to Leeds, I hate the fact that, without being derogatory to yourself, that it's basically, Leeds is still this big club. Now, for me personally, I don't see it. I mean, yes, you are a big club in terms of what you've achieved, your history and stuff. But if that makes you a big club, then what we've achieved over our history makes us a big club. But we're looked at as, shit on a shoe sort of thing. We're like, bottom of the league thing, sort of rugby team, even though we've just beat the record for the most games without a red card. But, we play rugby tactics, apparently. Nice one.
Yeah, Klopp. You do.
Yeah. But, yeah, it's always good because you've got a physical attacking side in Bielsa's team. You've got us who are tough to beat, sort of always will try and grind a team down to our level sort of thing and then try and sucker punch them. It's going to make for a tasty affair. I'm scared because obviously, I'll be totally honest with you, our start hasn't been great. I do have to look back at that Liverpool result. Yes, okay, we were beat 2-0. But it wasn't as bad as we actually thought. If we played like we did against Liverpool, against teams, as I say, like yourself, if we'd have played the same as we did against Brighton on the opening day, we could have had a better result than what we had. I expect us to beat teams playing that way. And we tried to grind Liverpool down, and we have done that in recent years. But when it comes to this game is completely different. As you said off camera, this is a rivalry. It is the Battle of the Roses. It is White versus Red Rose. It is Yorkshire, Lancashire. It's just, that you're singing Marching On Together in the stands. We're trying to drown it out.
Yeah.
It's just got that feel of a derby as well. I mean, I suppose whoever Leeds come up against, it's always got a derby atmosphere because, everyone's the same where they sort of don't like Leeds or something like that.
I know.
You're seen as that club that's the shithouse team that nobody wants to play against. But it's one of those teams where you actually enjoy, you probably enjoy that tag because you are seen as, fine, we'll take it. Who cares? And fly under the radar with it. Obviously, a lot's expected of Bielsa. I mean, tell me about Marcelo Bielsa. I mean, what do you think of him as a gaffer?
He's the god of Leeds altogether for what he's done to not just to change the club, the place, but the whole city of Leeds. And I think what has helped is with 16 so years of not being back in the Premier League, it was just manager after manager, and no one could not deal with the club. If you go back to the days in the 70s where we had 60th century, we had Don Revie, was arguably our best Leeds United manager before Bielsa came. And then since then, we stayed a bit until your lot took over for a bit of that time in that period of 70s, 80s. You were a good team around then. Yeah. And then until we won the league title before the breakaway of the Premier League, the team was a bit stale until we got David O'Leary coming in. We thought, we got some very good young players and all that stuff, like Kuro, Viduka, and Dembla. And then all of a sudden, just the financial stuff, it just was affected. And I think before Bielsa comes, we'll try with two managers with Thomas Christensen and Paul Hickenbach, which knew it was never going to work out. And then once the news would come up, Bielsa, a lot of people like Steve Evans, our former Leeds player manager, saying that, you should get an English manager. Why are you getting a foreign manager? But Bielsa did do his homework. He did his homework at Leeds. He watched about 8 tapes of Leeds United. So he see what he was trying to do. And he was not rushing to get that contract. He was not rushing to sign that contract. So we knew he was coming. And, it's been a blessing. If you go to Leeds, there's a lot of murals of Bielsa. There's one of the shopping centre. They got one of the streets named after him. It's been a blessing. It's been a change. He's just like us. It's the working class culture that Leeds are, and also not just your lot as well, but in Leeds in general, because the fans were expecting more from these players to be more fighting for us. And I think during the years, the Leeds fans were fighting between each other before Bielsa came. We all now are one unit now. So we all band together no matter what. So I think it's been tremendous having Bielsa there at the club. He has changed the way that how we play football, the way we think about life, about the quality of life with the average Joe, and that's what he needed. That's what he needed to the players, and the players have bought into that.
Yeah, massively. I mean, obviously, let's talk about his contract. He's not one for literally sitting down and going, okay, slap a 5-year deal in front of me and I'll sign it. He likes to take it season by season. And I suppose in a way that can be dangerous, but it can also have a positive effect on the club, because if anything was to happen where, it was a case of Bielsa was being touted by some other club to step in, like when the Spurs job became available, etc. He was touted to go places. Every manager's going to get touted when the job availability comes up.
Yeah.
But it's the fact that he always signs that 1 year. He always signs that 1 year deal. He's always committed. I think aren't Leeds the longest club he's managed as well? Doesn't he usually? He's kept it pretty short with a lot of clubs that he's been at, hasn't he?
He has. This has been his longest club in his club career, actually. So I think his longest club before that, I think it was Athletic Bilbao. And then I think before that, it was Newer Old Boys. So he was pretty much in and out of his jobs after he post Athletic Bilbao when they knocked out Manchester United in the Europa League in that 2011-2012 season. So he's been in and out, but this has been his longest club. And the reason why people understand why he does not sign his contract it takes a little bit longer because he likes to evaluate the past season, not just like the playing squad, but behind the scenes, like the infrastructure, as training ground, what the improvements are, and so forth. So that's why it thinks it takes a little bit long. And the last 2 seasons, his deal's always been announced days before the first game. It always has been. So we've been used to that. And the thing is, we were very concerned about, with the Spurs job that he was laid to. And also, there was one point, I remember he was 1 or 2 people, he should go to Celtic. I'm like, I don't think he's big in the Celtic. I don't think in Celtic where they are, they're not going to do what he wants to do because Celtic is just Celtic a lot better now than on the Ange now, which is fair enough. But the Spurs job was a bit worrying because but I knew the Leeds board always knew what Bielsa was going to do because after the end of the season, he was still in Leeds because he couldn't go back to Argentina to see his family like he usually does. So he was just training with the kids, coaching the kids and all that stuff. But we all knew he was going to sign that contract. But it does drag a little bit. And hopefully now, coming to the end of this season, we can get a contract signed before the first game, the first announcement of the fixture list. So, but no, we're happy with what we do. He does his businesses. He just because he also one of his family members is a lawyer, so they do check the details to find the details and make sure everything's right for him to come back for another season.
No, fair play. I mean, as you just rightly said, it was surprising from looking from the outside, looking in, that Bielsa took the Leeds job, and everyone was like, "Oh wow." I mean, clearly he's obviously, as you stated, he's done his history. His family have looked into it. Did you say it was his brother or someone who's a lawyer?
Yeah, his brother's a lawyer. Yeah.
So, he's done the homework. He knows what he's doing, and he's sort of become a staple of the club, hasn't he? It's a bit like us with Sean Dyche, where you now take Bielsa out of that. It's like ripping the spine out of a club, right? Which is what you've probably got now.
Yeah, it's not just the club, but the whole city as well. Because, like I say, he's the messiah now. Pretty much everyone looks up to him. And like I say, we see him on his knees, on his feet, edge down, looking at SSN. We all do sometimes have that little stickler of what he does as well. And him, he doesn't even drive. He actually walks from Wetherby to the training ground. Pretty much, and I remember one time the athletic reporter Phil Hay asked him, "Do you want to lift up?" I said, "No, I like walking." And he walked in the rain. He walked to the rain about 6 miles up the road. That's what Bielsa is. Bielsa wants to be the people, he's man of the people. That's what we see in him, and that's why he's always had that. And we knew that he had it in him, But we're now seeing it, thinking, he assessed this is what the average worker makes in Leeds. Think about what you're earning every week. And it's embedded in if somebody even leaves, it's going to be sad because we know that things will have to change, and we don't, but we want to keep that structure that he's really built so well over the last 3 years to try to make sure the next manager, long-term manager, when he does call it a day, and say, you know what, I'm happy with the club. Let's see the next manager steps in and keep that format, So we'll see.
Yeah, definitely. It's definitely a watch this space moment with Leeds United, isn't it? And I mean, looking back at the start of this season, your transfer business, I mean, what's your thoughts so far on how it's gone?
It could be a little bit better, but I think we got some of the areas that we needed to get, actually, such as Junior Firpo on the left back, because we've not had a specialist left back since y'all lot took Charlie Taylor off us a few years ago. And we thought it was a bad move for him, but he's done quite all right. I'll give him credit for, because I think he did deserve better from the previous ownership. So yeah, but at the moment, I think with Jack Harrison, which we needed, I think it was going to be permanent. We've had him in the last 3 years. It was very proud that he stayed with it, and he's been one of our key players as well. But we do need to do more in the transfer window. To quite honestly, we do need that like-for-like replacement for Calvin Phillips, because without Calvin Phillips, we do struggle in that defense midfield area, and I think we do need a like-for-like, not cover, but just like a rotational basis, so they can play roughly what Phillips plays every day in that CDM role.
Yeah, I mean, we could see obviously on the international stage, Calvin Phillips and Declan Rice, they ripped up some mean partnership for England. So who knows? I'm not saying Declan Rice will join Leeds, people. What I am saying is that maybe if they find a player that can mash well with Calvin Phillips in that area, then who knows? As you said with Leeds, watch this space. I'm actually surprised, and I'm going to bring it up because we mentioned it off air. Obviously, alongside Calvin Phillips, Patrick Bamford's received a call up to the international side. People were looking at it. The Rodrigo deal. He was brought in thinking, right, well, Bamford's not going to hit them hearts in the Premier League, and Rodrigo is still, as much as the amount of money you paid for him was still, only just signed. He's still going through an, adaptation period of adapting to the league, the language, and so on. Where Bamford came in and just instantly just tore up the handbook and went, nah, Marcelo, I got this, and just hit it.
He did. And the reason, I'll go back to Rodrigo. The reason we thought Rodrigo was placement, we thought it was for Bamford, but there was some more details to that why we brought Rodrigo. And Rodrigo can speak good English, so we knew about it when he first joined. But the reason was, and this is interesting because no one didn't know about this, it was actually he was going to be the long-term replacement for Pablo Hernandez. That's why. Yeah, see, a lot of people don't know that because Rodrigo can play up front. Yes, that's fair enough. But he was always going to be a long-term replacement for Pablo Hernandez in that attacking midfielder role. So that's why we always kept back. The Bales has always trusted Bamford up front. And you know what? The years of you lot slated him and Sardai slated him, as well as other clubs slated him, he can't not score in the Premier League. He's not good enough. And I think Bielsa worked his mind and said, no, if he's under the right man who can give him another dimension, and he has done. And people criticised him for his lack of goals in the Premier League last. But look what happened last season. He tore the league apart. I thought, this is the Patrick Bamford we've been waiting for. Why he's been going to so many clubs since it worked, but we have worked for him. It's worked for him with us, and Bielsa knows his strength because he's good at holding the ball when we get our wingers coming, our wide wingers coming around. It's been tremendous. So, and I think him getting the English squad has been overdue because I think Southgate needs to look at different ways. Because if we have to get to a certain point in the World Cup next year, we need players like Bamford. Needs to make that kind of be that also that difference maker if Kane needs someone up front. Because I have to say, I think that's what England lacked a little bit in the final. And I've been an England fan myself. That's what I think we lacked in the final and not having that someone hold the ball to try to get that second goal. Bamford can do all that as well, especially if he's somewhere in the middle and trying to find the best way to head a ball from a header. He will do that. So to be quite honest with you, I think it's a good pick for Southgate to get Bamford in and see how he does one of the 3 games.
No, I totally agree. Looking at a couple of comments, I've got to say a big hello to my little girl who's watching downstairs. So hi, Esme.
Hi, Esme.
Hope you're okay. And Daddy will be downstairs soon, and we'll have some big cuddles. So yeah, you just keep watching me on the TV screen, and then I'll appear in real life. Don't worry about it. I won't be long. Obviously, talk Burnley FC. I said, who's Charlie Taylor? And yeah, I mean, he is an absolute beast. A left back, as you said, that flies under the radar. Ankit, thank you for tuning in. Hey Dan, just popped in to say hi. Hope you are well, my friend. Good luck with the stream. Big up to your bad self. And Talk has given us some latest Maxwell Cornet news. The Leon man has had his medical ahead of a move to Burnley and will officially sign tomorrow, according to reports in France. So that'll be good. That'll be absolutely great. It is. We've been looking for a player with pace, with a bit of flair. I mean, we've just been looking forward to a signing, to be honest, because the past few years we've barely had anybody. But that's brilliant news, mate. Absolutely brilliant news. And like I say, fingers crossed, it gets over the line. There's no issues in the medical, and we can move on to a couple of more names that have been mentioned. A certain Ainsley Maitland-Niles at Arsenal would be a nice little welcome addition as well. But
it would be to piss off Arsenal off as well.
Definitely. Obviously, talking about our additions, where do you feel like you need to strengthen the most? Obviously, I understand you said about Calvin Phillips, somebody that can, slot in there after him. He can't be expected to be the only man to run that gaff. Sometimes, you need someone to fall back on in that position, and even potentially even push Calvin Phillips onto the next level. So,
Yeah.
Other than that position, is there anywhere else where you in particular would strengthen? And is there any names that ring a bell?
Well, there has been interest about in the central midfield role and also on the wide as well. We got Rafinha and Harrison, but players like Helder Costa is not being paying dividends, especially when we spent £70 million after having him on loan initially, and it's not been working out quite well. There's been a few names being mentioned for Leeds for a moment. I think it's died down a little bit, but Lewis O'Brien from Huddersfield, he was linked to, because of the fault association with Carlos Caban, who's now the manager. He was part of the Bielsa's coaching squad at the time. And we've been linked with Noah Lang from Club Bruges, who's been tremendous after he joined on loan from Ajax. He scored 17 goals and 11 assists in the Belgian leagues last season. He's been tremendous. The one name also has been linked so many, and we thought we had him close to the line a few years ago, and then he went to Manchester United. It's always been Dan James for some obvious reason. I'm just like, this story needs to end, but because of Ronaldo's coming back, to Old Trafford.
Who knows?
Who knows? Exactly. So I don't think he's gonna get in that squad if Ronaldo comes back. So that's a bit of a worry now. So it may be interesting if we do get Dan James, but Leeds and Manchester United never done business with each other, not since when we bought Alan Smith. When Alan Smith bought by Manchester United, and that was the last permanent transfer. We've had one or two lows from Manchester United once, but yeah. The rivalry is just not going to let that happen, So I don't know who we'll get. It'll be interesting to see what we do on the last day of the window, because we're always very quiet what we do. Even though Bielsa said publicly that he's not unlikely to sign players, but watch the space, because Leeds always do some business on the last day. If they feel like it's the right business, they will do it.
Yeah, I totally agree. Dan James wouldn't be a bad addition for you guys, I don't think either. We say he was close. I mean, it was practically done, wasn't it? There was the pictures in the Leeds shirt, holding it. And then literally, as he's walking out the stadium, sorry, mate, United have come in. All right, okay, quick trip, bang, off he pops.
Well, see the thing, because I remember watching our documentary series. He was there, the shirt's holding up, and there's somehow the owners of Swansea, somehow the Swansea ownership is so weird, because they got Oprah Winfrey, I think, and Minnie Kaling as well, the two big stars in America. And I think they had a part to play. So no, and I think because they own parts of the club, the percentage of the club at Swansea. But the owners of the club did not want to sell Dan James, and the deal was cancelled. Then we had to play against Dan James the very next day, a couple of days later. And then we thought we were going to get him back in that summer, and until Manchester United came along and paid £18 million for him, I thought, oh great, this is So it was quite annoyance with that one. And then we had to get Helder Costa, which was the alternative choice, which is not paid off, to quite honest with you. So, yeah.
No, as I say, I think he's a good player. He's got a lot of. He's again another player that's got a lot of pace. Probably will be linked with a few clubs as well as yourselves. But yeah, obviously, not bad additions that you mentioned there, though. Names wise, that have been rumoured. Some solid acquisitions there, and if you, as I say, watch this space with Bielsa, who knows? They could all be walking through the door.
True, absolutely true. So no, I've got Phil Hay on notifications to make sure if he knows something, he will say because he knows the club inside out. Because he's for him himself, because he was born in Edinburgh, so he's a Hearts fan like myself. So for him, I keep in links to make sure. Okay, what's going on here? What is he saying? Because what he said is very concrete. So he's one of the top 3 people that I trust.
Not wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. You always need somebody you can trust. Not like Sky Sports News, who just rummage through Twitter and will just share it and share it and share it.
Oh.
So, obviously, this Sunday's game, 2:00 kickoff, bank holiday weekend, plenty of beers, up at Turf Moor. I mean, unfortunately, I'm not going to be there. I will be in a pub somewhere, though. I am away this weekend. But I will be in a pub watching it. I will have this top on. I will be 6 or 7 pints deep before the kickoff started. And fingers crossed, as I say, hopefully we can get the 3 points. But I know you will be hoping the latter. Talk us through your team. Where should we be more worried this season? Because obviously over the last year we saw that attacking flair that you've got. You've also got the ability to counteract a counter.
Yeah.
last year's games, okay, some of them were behind closed doors, but it were painful for us. The Bamford goal, should it have stood? Should we have had a penalty?
Yeah.
All the drama without going into it, because it really gets on my tits, because
I know it does.
I still think we should have had a penalty for that. I really still think we should have had a penalty for that. How your keeper gets away with a full-on knee in the back, I do not know, but even if it didn't go have a penalty, the Barnes goal should have still stood. But to have both of them just literally gone, nah, I was just like, what? Wow, really? What's going on? Seriously, I nearly ripped the TV off the wall.
I couldn't
one of
imagine
those.
I couldn't imagine that as a Burnley fan going through that. And to be honest, it was a few for me after the game, because you lot was so peed off completely. I thought, right, they're gonna retaliate, and I thought, okay, let's see where this goes. And I thought, I was lucky we got through that, but I know Dash was heaving after that game.
Massively.
He was angry as hell about it. I thought, yeah, this is what happens. This is what happens when we get as a Leeds fan. We're not bothered about you. We're bothered about ourselves. So, yeah, it was more like that. So,
no, I totally agree with it. I mean, where do you think we need to look at? Who do we need to look out for the most come Sunday? Who's your danger man that we should look out for?
Ooh, that's a good question. I have to say, if he's fit enough this weekend, I think hopefully will beat Diego Llorente. I think I'll give a stat which is interesting. So before when he joined the club, and without him, because he was so injured, we didn't win much with him under the belt compared to the last couple of games he won. We was more better defensively. I think when he was in the squad, and then we see like 42 goals and something like that in the first 20 something games. The last 11 games or something like that, we actually conceded a lot less. We were second best to Liverpool coming towards the end of last season, and Diego Llorente was key to that, because when you have him fit, he's really good. I think it was just his fitness issues, because he came in so late in the transfer window. We were just trying to get his fitness up, and he had that tough game against Chelsea when he had to come on and that. When I think it was Robin Koch got injured. But I think when Llorente plays, he's a difference, along with Stroik playing next to him. So Diego Llorente is one of the players you need to be very careful from your end, because when he plays quite well, you know that he will probably get the odd goal in him as well from a set piece. So you got to watch Diego Llorente if he's playing, because I know we'll be trying to get his fitness back. But I think the one player you do need to watch carefully is Rafinha. I think he's our little Brazilian that we probably needed for such a long time. So I think with him, he has been the creative. When him and Harrison play between each other, they'll switch wings, and that's what you lot need to be very careful, because if they switch wings, they'll have different ideas what they're trying to do. So I think the end of the three players you do need to watch quite carefully.
No, I'll take that. I will take that. As you say, it's we've been quite weak recently on the wings, because against Brighton, the 2 goals we conceded were exactly the same. They were down that left-hand side. Down the right-hand side. And, it was interesting because... No, it was the left-hand side, sorry. Yeah, it was the left-hand side. Yeah. And obviously, to concede those 2 goals, it was literally like watching the first one, pressing rewind and pressing play again. They were carbon copies. And obviously against Liverpool, we've tried to, nullify that, which is extremely difficult, because obviously when you play a team like Liverpool, you play these games against Liverpool, United, City, Chelsea, and I'm not even going to include Arsenal and Tottenham in that bracket. But but obviously they're free hits. They're free hits. These are the games where we need to, yourselves, us, we need to be taking points off each other. And as I say, Rafinha on out wide is going to. It's scary for me, because hopefully Charlie Taylor's going to be playing. As I say, hopefully he'll nullify that threat. If it's Eric Peters, then lace your boots up, son. You're in for a game. I mean, who do you see being our danger man? Who worries you the most when you look at our side?
Ooh, that's a tough one, actually. I think it had to be probably it has to be one player is Dwight McNeil. He's probably been your danger man. And over that as well, I think Josh Brownhill as well, because we've been living with Brownhill as well a couple of days ago. So, I think with Brownhill not playing the way he's played, but the two key players that we do need to watch, because we know about Chris Wood quite well because he was a former Leeds player. He has been tremendous for you guys, keeping you guys in the leagues. Him not having the goals without him, you will struggle, So I would say they're your three players that we need to watch out for, because they are really good and dangerous at on open play or set piece. So we need to be very very with that, because our set piece has not been our best for the last 18 months or so. I'm not going to lie to you. We have been probably the worst. One of the worst few teams have had a leak from set pieces, which we need to be rectifying that, because we can't do this. This can't go on forever. So, but we have to be very careful of McNeil, Brownhill, and Wood, because they're the players where we need to really, really put pressure on them.
Yeah, no, fair enough. For me, obviously, who worries me in your team, I'd say Click. I think I think it was only a couple of years back we wanted him from you guys as well, but obviously, he seemed to slot in perfectly. We ended up after that going in for Brownhill and getting Brownhill instead, if I remember rightly. And now I understand you're sniffing for Brownhill and things. Now, I've said this to a couple of mates. Yes, Brownhill has been absolutely class since he's come in. He's sort of another unsung player where he's not just been linked with yourselves, he's been linked with Aston Villa. Yeah. And to be fair, who hasn't been linked with Aston Villa this year? It's, for me, I struggle to see sort of, not what he does, because he's an absolutely class player, but the big obsession with why he's wanted so much. And I don't know whether that's because I'm watching more of the team aspect and not just his overall game. Now, don't get me wrong, him in that midfield, most of the time he's pushed out to the right wing, and it's painful. When Goodmanson's injured and we've not got a right winger, he's pushed out to the right wing. We don't see the best, but he can have good, solid games there, don't get me wrong. But you stick him in the centre of that midfield, him and Cork or him and Westwood, Brownhill for me is growing every single game. But he also reminds me of when we had George Boyd. Now, a lot of people didn't even say much about George Boyd, or if you were to do a poll of who's your favourite player, George Boyd wouldn't come up much. But he was a workhorse. He ran his arse off. It's his off-the-ball game more than what he's doing on the ball. The fact that he can, bring a player away, give you that opportunity to run, which in a Burnley team isn't often that a player then goes, oh, you've given me space. We struggle. Yeah. He does that dirty work that you expect somebody to sort of be like, right, get yourself in there, get yourself into space. And Burnley are like, nah, the Pope's on, I'll play it back. but times are like that, as I say. Click's one that worries me for your side. Obviously, Rodrigo was in fine form in the last game at Turf. So he's another one that worries me if he continues where he left off from last time he was here. I mean, going back to Leeds United, your team, who's your starting 11 for Sunday?
Starting in goal is always Meslier. Meslier has always been trusted. Yes, he's going to make mistakes. I know he made mistakes in the home game with you lot last season. I get it. But he will improve in any way. So he's always going to be...
He's only young, isn't he?
21, only 21. He's just signed a new long-term deal with us till 2026. He'll
definitely be a French international at some point.
He will be. They call him
French number one, should I say?
French number one, and they call him the French Thibaut Courtois. So there's a reason why they call him that.
Ooh la la!
Yeah, I know. Ooh la la, indeed. On the right, we will play Aylin, because we always just look Aylin, and he's always been versatile.
It was only recently I read the story about Luke Aylin. With how his move to Leeds came about, and I found it so fascinating how he just I forgot who it were that were playing at the time, and he messaged them, didn't he, saying, I'm not getting much game time at Barnsley or something, or Bristol City, and he said,
Bristol City,
any chance? Yeah, and he said, any chance of a move? Are you looking for a right back? And the next minute, Leeds came and approached, and he ended up getting that move. So fair
Exactly
play.
like
Now
that.
he's decent.
Yeah.
He's decent. Obviously, he's coming up to 30-year-old now as well, isn't he? So
Yeah. I think
but
he's on
he's
the next
solid.
list. Yeah, I think he's on the next list to get a long-term contract with us as well at some point as well. So he's always been versatile, and we always love him because when he scores spectacular goals, he does score a lot of goals, but he
That
scores
goal against
really.
United.
Yeah, I know, exactly. So he's always going to be all right back. In the middle, Llorente looks decent after coming back. You know, he's played in his last game against Crew in the League Cup, so he'll be back in that squad, in that lineup on Sunday as well. And I think it's a tough one because Lee Cooper, fair play to him, because I know he had a torrid time against United. I think it will either be Pascal Struijk in that next to him, because that partnership's always been good. That's always been a long-term partnership with those two players, because Lee Cooper is going to come up to 30 at some point. So Struijk is our long-term replacement. So he'll probably play next to Llorente on Sunday. Then in the left back, I think Junior Firpo will play there as well. You know, he does.
How did you manage to sign him?
There is a story with this one, and I'm going to tell you this story briefly. I'll keep it short. So after with what's going on in Barcelona and so forth, they were close linked with him. AC Milan. There were a few other clubs in Spain as well, but none of the clubs didn't go to him directly. They just spoke to him by video call. Victor Ortega, our director of football, went to Barcelona to meet with him, had talks, and he was very interested in going to Leeds, and he was happy with wanting to go to Leeds because he wants them to come approach him, and that's what we was going to do. And yeah, we needed a special left back for quite a long time, and he joined a club for £13 million. It's a decent amount of money.
That's a steal. That is a steal.
It is a steal indeed, because we were linked with Roman Parade, who's now at Southampton now. We were linked with him quite a lot. But I think Junior Firpo was that right figure, that target that we needed. So no, Victor Ortega done a really good job to go to Spain, meet with him personally. They had chats, and yeah, talks went further on, and he signed with us. So yeah, that is our back four. In the midfield, in the central defence midfield, Calvin Phillips always has been. You know, there's no difference. Robbie Koch is now injured now, so we don't know how long he's going to be back. He would have been an alternative replacement, but Phillips is our number one. He's always that first player on that list. So yeah, Phillips will start there. And I think in the central and attacking midfield, I think it will be Click. No doubt, but I think Click will be in that central midfield, and I think it will be Rodrigo next to him as well. I think we can't, because there's no one. I think Shackleton, you know, he's a good player, Shackleton, and he'll get better and better. We know about Shackleton quite well.
Yeah, he's only young, isn't he?
He's only about 20, 19, 20. So I think he will get some game time on Sunday, but I think it will be Rodrigo starting next to Click, and then on the right. Oh, it's a hard one because I love Dallas, I love Rafinha, I love Harrison. I think with what we do need, I think Dallas might play on the left, and I think Rafinha will play on the right. I think that's what I'm going to go for anyway.
I tell you what, that's solid picks, that, because obviously against a team like ours that's quite physical, you've gone for two lads there that you've got one who can do the donkey work in Stuart Dallas, who will literally try and nullify things on that side, but you've got the legs and the pace of Rafinha on the opposite side, who will just run at you for days and just for fun.
Yeah, exactly. And even Harrison could do that, but when we have Dallas in that team, he's versatile, so he can play in any position from left back, either to right back or to the right on the right hand side where Rafinha plays. So we have that versatility, but I think Harrison will just miss up because we do. I think Dallas is more what we need, that solid in how we're going to play against you guys this weekend. And then up front, the usual Bamford.
Just straight up Patrick Bamford, just straight up there. Do you think if Leeds were to ever change tactic and go for two up top, do you think it would work, or does Bamford actually strike you as a player that is just better alone? Leave him to his own devices, and he'll do what he's meant to do. It's
a mixed one. I'm not going to lie to you. I don't think we've ever played two up front under Bielsa. That's the thing. I think Bamford likes to be off the ball to get the players coming into the 6-yard box, either a low or high cross, to mix it around and see where he's going to go, either the near corner, because that's where he's usually good at the near post, because that is his favorite of his position where how he plays. So it's a tough one. Would it ever work with two strikers up front? I don't know. I probably don't think it will. How Bielsa plays his tactic, he's always had the same tactics from his previous clubs. So I don't think he will change. I don't think it will change as much anyway. I think if you bring like Rodrigo coming up behind him, Rodrigo act like a second striker when we going forward, just to to help Bamford. But most of the time, I think Bamford has always been good on his own. He's been good on his own. I think that's what he's needed because when he was playing next to a striker a couple of years ago, I don't think he was good enough for that. I think he was more better off the ball being by himself. So I think he's more better by himself than having someone next to him.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you've always had a decent striker in you. As I say, you can go back to the days of when you had, even when you had Robbie Blake from us, you've had Ian Moore from us.
Yeah.
You've had the partnership of Becchio and Beckford.
Yeah.
That helped you drive up them leagues. I mean, you've always seemed to do well and picked out a gem up front, to be fair.
Yeah, we have actually. Keemar Roof was one of them as well. Yeah. We've had a good gem of strikers who could play, who could really give the delivery goals. A lot of people didn't rate Beckford at Leeds for some reason. People was questioning about his attitude, but I don't think that was the attitude. I think if you understood him, he was a good player. You just needed to understand him properly because he could deliver at certain points. You saw that in the game where we had to beat Bristol Rovers in that 2009-10 League One season to get promoted. It was a huge one because he was vital for us. So, I don't know what, but we've had so much good gems up front. that has probably been our good strength for the years.
I'm glad you mentioned that Bristol Rovers games, to be fair, because
I know
that's the what how we said at the start about putting a cheeky bet on. That's the bet that for me I could have won around 68 to 70 grand on a football bet. I just picked random ridiculous teams, and it was that one game that let me down.
Oh, sorry to say that.
Hey, it's all right. So I mean, supporting Burnley and coming up against Leeds as an opposition, it's fine. It's fine. It's Burnley Leeds. But then it means more the fact that I don't have that many zeros and that much numbers in my bank account. But no, it's definitely going to make for an interesting game. And I mean, I'm looking forward to it. Where will you be watching on Sunday? You'll be with family, won't you?
No, I'm still in Edinburgh with my partner, so I'll be at home working. But I'm going to take my laptop and watch it on the big screen in my living room. So I'm going to be, even though I'll be in my last 2 hours of my Sunday shift, so I'll be getting away, just taking my laptop, just watching it a bit, seeing make sure there's no instant alerts coming up. So no, I'll be doing that on Sunday. But no, I'm hopeful I'm back down in Yorkshire a lot more often now because I now can drive now. So. Which means I will go to some games, which means because my family's in Huddersfield, they're like half an hour from Leeds. So it'll make it easy for me to drive. And I've got a membership now with Leeds now, so which I can go to buy tickets for the game. So I'm hoping to go to the Newcastle game in 2 weeks' time away to Newcastle and then drive home after the game.
Good luck with them stairs.
I know. I've been told. I have been told about that. And then I'll be going to the West Ham game. So I'm trying to be back, do a few more games when I'm back home, see my family. Because like I said, my shift pattern is not better now. So I can try to get home on some weekends when I'm not working. So, yeah, better. So,
happy days. So, obviously, last but not least, score prediction. How do you think the game's going to go?
It's going to be a very touchy game. I think both teams are going to be open. No doubt, but I think both teams will be a little bit open. Even though Burnley will be a bit more defensive, but I think you'll open up a lot more when you can't attack us. So if I had to go for a score prediction, this is a tough one. I think it'll be close, but I think we can get edge at 2-1. I think it'll be close.
Yeah, I think obviously I'd say similar to yourself, but obviously the other way around, role reverse. I mean, I'm a Burnley channel. If I don't back my own team,
exactly.
I'm in the shit. But I just think obviously the performance against Liverpool will spur us on. The fact that it's a rivalry, fans back at Turf Moor for a rivalry as well. The banter between the two clubs, between the fan bases. I think it just sets itself up for a really good game. And as I say, it's Burnley Leeds. Nobody knows which way it's going to go. Sometimes form goes out the window in these games. So, you know, as I say to every guest that has come on, good luck for the rest of the season. Obviously, apart from our 2 fixtures. But yeah, honestly, thank you, Carl, for coming on. It really does mean a lot. Last but not least, please do give another plug to your channels and explain to people what you've got coming up.
Right. So, yes, next week we're going to be hopefully get back on our first fully podcast, which I've deleted all my stuff on YouTube and on our social media channels. But we are going to talk about this weekend's games, as well as the England squad as well. We're going to talk about that next week in our podcast as well. And also the transfer window roundup and who, with the deals that's happening. It'll be interesting to see on the final day. So, yeah, we're going to be talking the most about that during next week. But I am going to do a lot more short videos as well, such as the predictions as well. I'm also going to try to get people on as well, taking time out to talk about some games as well, leading up to who Leeds play against or whatever. So now I'll be doing a few of that more often now. But I am now starting to get to be on more other podcast YouTubers as well. So since I'm now, like I say, my last job, I was doing night shift, and it was not the best party ever. So I'm now, as I said, 9 to 5 person. I'm free anytime. I'm free any day. If anyone wants to hit me up and wants to appear, I'm welcome to do it. So I would appreciate that.
Yeah, no, I appreciate the fact that you've come on today, give you a perspective on Leeds. I can't thank you enough. So, yeah, thank you for doing that. As Carl just said, please head on over to his new YouTube channel with Doug. It's honestly, it is in our description. All you have to do, look down that description. It's there. So is all our socials. Hit us up, hit Carl up, hit Doug up. Just show us your support. It means a lot. The fact that you're here, giving us your time means a lot to begin with. So thank you very much.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, no, thank you very much, Carl. As I say, good luck for the rest of the season. But I'm sorry, it's just come on, you Clarets.